Okay, this is now day 8 post-surgery. Had a very eventful day. Let me backtrack a little bit because everyone's rehab is going to be different, and I think that it's really incumbent upon anyone who's planning on having a surgery. There are a lot of exercises that one needs to do in preparation for the surgery with flexion, extension, abduction, adduction. They're online. Your doctor can give them to you, but I think it's very important. How you recover and your outlook is really going to make a major difference on how you rehab. I can tell you one thing that I've noticed. I find it amazing that someone can have a bilateral hip done at the same time. I had initially really relied on my good unoperative right hip and leg to do a lot of the work, sometimes to lift the other leg by bending the knee, other times to stand upright, pushing myself onto bed. The other thing before the surgery, besides doing those exercises, which I think you need to do on both legs for the hip, and as I said, they're online, you need to do arm exercises. My triceps have really gotten a good workout, even more so than the biceps, but they have too, because you're going to be, when you're walking, and yesterday I did an hour and a half of walking nonstop with a walker. You're putting some weight on it, even though when you offload, I can tell you the very first day I was offloading a lot, and I probably was standing 80% of my weight was on my arms rather than my legs, and at some point in time. So your arms need to be strong, and in particular your triceps, because for me, lying down in bed, it's great. Getting my legs straight, once my knee was straight, I'd use my arms and just pull myself back onto the bed. And then, in order to become more independent, because my adduction, abduction right now are very weak, and I've shown you some videos where pulling my legs into the midline was almost impossible. I would have to take both arms to lift up my thigh with my leg straight and literally carry my leg over with my arms. You can always have a helper do it, but it's best to try and do things yourself. It's a little bit more incentive. So that's basically what I'm saying, is you really need to be a good participant, need to be ready and willing. It doesn't matter how good the surgeon is and all your care, if you don't put the work in before the surgery and be willing to put in the work after the surgery, that's going to limit your success. As for today, which actually could limit success, fortunately I am a physician and I do know how to deal with things, but I had a lot of problems setting up home health care, not just visiting nurse, which was less important, but for physical therapy. Today actually was the first true visit I actually have from a physical therapist. I should have had someone on Saturday. My surgery was Thursday. I was discharged on Friday. I should have had someone Saturday, at the very latest Monday, but as it turns out, my first physical therapy session, which was mainly an evaluation at first, but we did some exercises, which I'll show. It just happened today, and 3 times a week is what I'm looking for. And while doing walking and doing the standard exercise that I'm given, which I told you were ankle pumps, and the quad crunches, and it's important to do it correctly. Actually, I was shown how to do it more properly all the time, at no less than a 5 counts, and that's probably, I'm counting a 10 Mississippi now, just to be certain, but at least 5 seconds, but doing it with your legs flat. And it's probably best to do it on a bed, flat surface where you're flattening it. And the gluteal crunches, that I made sure, those are the only exercises that I was really told to do. And as far as some knee bends, but I now, with the physical therapist, we're now working on drawing your knee up, or bending your knee with your leg flat so your heel is dragging along the floor with your toes up, and also with the toes straight up, adduction, abduction, which is sliding while you're lying down your back on the bed, sliding my leg to the left and back to the midline. So out wide into the midline with you just dragging your heel. And I can tell you, I've tried this with my right leg, and it's very easy. And actually in the hip flexion, where I'm just raising my leg up, you saw it with the physical therapist, I couldn't lift it off the bed, but it's getting stronger, and I've done several more today, and I can tell you it helps, and I'm sure tomorrow's going to be better. But I did it with my right leg, and I can practically go to 90 degrees without any problem. So I know I've got a long ways to go. So as good as I felt I was doing with walking, and I mean, I'm doing great, there's a lot more to go. Recovery does take a long time, and you really need to understand that. And my advice even is, before you go into this, write down these notes, because having something written down and then referring back to them so that you're not disappointed in how you're doing, or you're not satisfied with what you're doing. Realize it's going to be a long rehab, but things are always going to be getting better. So that's about all. One other thing, just to say, I've mentioned that I've been taking tramadol 1 every 6 hours. That's what has been my need for the pain medication. I like getting off all types of prescription meds. I tried last night not taking a tramadol and just took a couple of Tylenol, and so overall I'm not really having pain, but it's more of a discomfort and a comfort level. I did wake up every couple of hours. Wasn't quite as comfortable as I felt I needed to be. I did take a tramadol this morning, and I actually find during the daytime I was taking Tylenol. I took 2 Tylenol around 1 o'clock and 1 Tylenol at dinner time, and I'm doing real well. But I want to sleep tonight because I woke up really tired and exhausted. Part of it was from all the work I did yesterday, but I'm slowly easing off. So as I said, under medicating yourself will hold back your recovery, I think, but you don't want to be on these meds forever. That's it.